Thank you for listening to the TTalks.net podcast, the show that brings you information, guidance, and support to entrepreneur-minded individuals like yourself. TTalks.net will give you something to talk about tomorrow. This isn't the daily show, but this is the show where you'll get everything. You'll get a fiesta of a mix with the old and the new. They will give you tips and insights into everyday business, big wins in everyday life. They have a lot to add, from bookkeeping to sales, sales management, and sales training, and daily content for listeners to learn and enjoy. We are here to improve your life and business or sales career. Without any further ado, introducing the dynamic duo, Alex DeLuca and Rafael Rodriguez Jr.
Woo! Good evening, Rafael. How you doing?
Well, good evening, Alex. How are ya?
Oh, I can't complain, man. What are we in March now? March 8th, 2021. We made it. We are here. We are live. 9:59, soon to be 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is the show that you want to watch every weekday at 10 p.m. You are going to turn in and get some fun, big wins, big news, life hacks. We're here to give it to you.
Awesome. How was your weekend?
Oh, it was fun, man. Can't complain. Had some family time. Actually worked also the weekend at one of the flea markets in Fort Myers. Let homeowners know about great programs to help them improve their homes for hurricane impact windows and roofs.
Sweet. Well, my daughter
Time
took
off
the
when they're young.
The COVID-19 test yesterday. I had to take another shot, and that was the day. That was the day that, when a guy takes a shot, he's down. When a girl takes a shot, she just keeps going.
My wife tells me all the time that men are big babies.
Well, that's what we are. But anyways, welcome back. We got a full week ahead of us, Monday. And what are we going to talk about today, Alex?
Yeah, as I was listening to you ask me that, I'm listening to the feedback. I got a little muffled mic echo going on again today.
All right. Well, keeping in the tradition of sales and sales motivation and leadership, why don't we talk about the best leadership tips to improve sales motivation? I think that we all know that without sales, any organization that doesn't produce any revenue, it's basically a dead company. Unless you're doing something completely different, which there are companies without revenue that do, but they still have to get revenue or borrow revenue in order for them to function. So at the end of the day, you need revenue, regardless of how it's generated. Of course, we want to go ahead and earn it one customer at a time. And, what better to talk about just a little bit of sales management tips.
Sales management tips. We got about, a few juicy topics right in front of us. The one that we can jump right into. Let's see here. What about the best leadership tips to motivate? Elevating your own leadership style. What does that mean? One thing, lead from the top. That's one thing I am a firm believer in, is definitely leading from the top of the pack.
Well, your leadership style. There are, for those people that have gone to business school, there's around between 6 to 10 different leadership style. You can always take there's something in Mind Tools that use the power. Some people like to do influential. Like I said, there are many different ways of leaderships, and the best way of beginning to learn, especially if you're new or even if you've been in a leadership role, try to get an assessment of where you stand. Because anything that you do, you need to know where you're standing. And then once you know where you're standing, then you can improve upon it. If you don't know where you stand, it's a little bit hard to really make any movement that will help or improve.
No, that's the truth. Having that gauge is definitely huge.
So,
Try to fix my voice there. Maybe it worked.
well, and what I wanted to do real quick is that kind of give it to you in a textbook basis. You have your coach type of style. You got your visionary, your servant, your autocratic, you laissez-faire or hands-off, your democratic, your pace setter, transformational, transactional, and bureaucratic. Those are your top 10 common leadership styles, and you might fit in one of these depending on how you've been brought up or how you've been taught. And different organizations, they have different types. Within an organization, you can have all 10 of them, and they could be all effective depending on the position and the area and so on and so forth.
No, yeah, definitely. And after interviewing and training for so many years, I can think of probably every personality and every person to throw into those groups that you're thinking of. But to know who your top producer is, to know who your top talker is, to know who you have on your team is huge.
Well, and what happens is the following, and I actually do this a lot, which is, we talk about being as a supervisor or as a leader, you have to kind of be the chameleon of the situation. So for one salesperson, I might be autocratic. For another one, I might be a servant. And for other one, I might be transformational, because they all require different type of approach, because unfortunately there's no such thing as a cookie cutter salesperson
Right.
that is out there.
That's the truth.
They've all got
Everybody's
special
different.
needs.
Special needs is the right word for that.
Hey, let me tell you, I hate to say this, but high performers, high maintenance.
That is
It's
the
always
truth.
the same.
No, that is the truth. It always ends up being that way. They always need extra attention, whether it's good or bad. They're the ones that you have to get on, put some fire under their butt at the end of the day at the same time.
Yeah, no. And guess what? I don't say bend over backwards for your top performers, because they should be doing what the company wants them to do. And the minute they deviate, you got to look at very, closely and say, is this really beneficial at the long run? So they could be great sales numbers producing, but they might be doing more damages to your brand name and to the organization at the long run. So it could be pricing. They're selling it so high, and the word gets out. Here you are. Yeah, he sold all these jobs at a great number, but yet you're not getting referrals, and you're shutting doors down the line, and the neighbor finds out, and you pay too much, and then all of a sudden you start getting reviews, and it's all downhill from there. So you got to be careful.
Be extremely careful of who you let represent your business.
Now, what about the next one? We talk about the buyers, but tell me, Alex, what do you think about the disconnect or the connect with the buyers?
The number 2 tip for Tea Talks tonight, we'll jump right into focus on the buyers. At the end of the day, it's all about reading them. 50% of sales representatives avoid being pushy. I'm not pushy. 82% of them, do their best to provide value. God gave us, we always say, the 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. It's a 2-way conversation. And we're focusing on them for a few things. We're doing our research in the house. We're being the detective and finding out what those wants and needs are. And we'll correlate our approach of our sales presentation to how the homeowner or how the client is reacting to us, rather than, this is my company system, I'm going to slam this system down that homeowner's throat. No, here's a company system, here's the homeowner, we're going to make them two mesh in harmony, and we cannot lose focus on the homeowner. That's their stage. The more we get them talking, the more comfortable they are with us, and the more comfortable they will be with buying from you. So finding out their wants and needs, listening to them, building rapport, finding out about their family, what they're doing in the area, whatever it may be, but always focusing on the buyers. There's a huge disconnect out there, especially with even your top sales reps sometimes, that they love to talk about the company, love to talk about themselves, and ultimately will talk themselves out of a deal by not paying attention and focusing on the buyer.
Now, I do want to go ahead and mention that the numbers that Alex just talked about, the 50% of sales representing avoid being pushy, 82% of them, that was a survey that was conducted by HubSpot, but that was conducted in 2016. If we were to take that same survey and put it in the post-COVID environment, those numbers might be different. At least that's of my opinion. And we will definitely not know because we are not going to conduct the survey again. But definitely there might be some sway. But I think at the end of the day, we might be pretty close to what they're talking about.
No, yeah, it should be right on par. And like anything else, COVID has changed the world and the whole sales process. No matter what you're pushing out there in this planet, the days of sitting down at homeowners, dining room tables for dinner are done. It's a different world out there. We're even marketing to this point as we're doing, no contact first appointments. Hi, trying to pitch somebody on the phone, and I'm actually teaching people how to measure their own windows, like to get me close enough to, and that is picking up on the marketing side, no contact. That's what everybody's looking for. We need to come up with like a hologram that puts us in the house, and something out of the Return of the Jedi's type thing to start selling in the home. Oh, here's Alex. Something comes in the mail, and then you put it right here, and then here he just goes up.
And talking about doing a hologram, and I think it goes right into our next topic, which is trustworthy. Do you know, and this was another survey conducted a couple years ago, doctors are around 49% trustworthy, firefighter 48%, teachers 38%. Where do you think a marketer or a salesperson might be in the scheme of trust?
Dude, this is an awesome chart that we're looking at right now. Yeah, so we got the top. Where's the lawyers at? Okay, lawyer is 1, 2, 3, 4.
Lawyer is number 12.
They're about the 12th on the list.
12%. And believe it or not, an accountant and a lawyer trust factor, they're pretty much right in line.
They're right on line. That is ideal. Professional musician, that's funny.
That's pretty sad.
And then a barista, somebody gives you your coffee, they're liars.
5%.
A lobbyist, yep, that's a liar. A car salesman, oh, yep, that's a lie. This politician, oh, yep, that's a lie. Those are all 1%. And not up, just past them is a salesperson and a marketer. Why is that? Where's the contractor on that list, too? That has to be down there.
Well, and again, this was done in the second quarter 2016 out of 928 global respondent. They wanted to find out their opinion about how much they trust the different trade, and again, these are all part of the research number that people do, and it's out there for us to use, and I definitely will not use that. By the way, only 3% of the people believe in a salesperson. But
I'm going to put that in my pitch next time.
But the one thing you need to know is that the minute you go there, you're at a minus 97%. So every time you say something truthful, something valid, that number starts getting smaller and smaller. That untrustworthiness So now instead of being 4%, hopefully you grow to a 10%, then you grow to a 20%, to the point that you're at least 50% or plus. And the only way you do that is by giving factual and truthful information that could be validated by the customer. Because you
No,
can
of course.
validate it yourself, it's not going to do you any good.
Well, you know what? What do? You have to develop, a certain system. We talk about right systems. Why do we talk about systems? Because you can easily duplicate systems. You keep it short and simple. You have a process that somebody follows. Whatever you're selling, and we can go on the list of many things to sell. But as long as you have a believable marketing campaign around that product, that show the strengths and the services of that product, and then you teach your sales reps on top of that how to have a two-way conversation rather than a presentation. That's gonna, help you drop the guard and get back into the playing field. Ralph just said 97% we're already down before you get into the door.
Yep.
So once that door opens, it's Broadway. The red curtain goes up, and the smile kicks in, the enthusiasm, guys. It's 10:14 p.m. I can get a little bit more excited, but I'm not having any more coffee before the show. I'm not going to go to bed till 3 p.m. or 3 a.m. Sorry. I'm going to, give you the much excitement as possible as we can every night, 10 p.m. To 10:30. But look, it all starts with you when you get in the door. I'm in the roofing business, for crying out loud. I'm in the contracting business. Contractors have the worst name on the planet in South Florida for some reason. So I get there with a big smile on my face. Look, we're here to save the day. Our company's good. XYZ. I'm with a great roofing company now, Sunrise Roofing Service out of Fort Myers. Everybody's a W-2 employee. The family's been in the business for years, roofing. And then, I get back into selling myself. So I got the company sold, myself sold. I give them the excitement and see if I can change their mind about who they trust or not.
And like I like to say, it's showtime.
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 Show me the money.
Well, this is Showtime should include your whatchamacallit, your benefits, your pros and cons, and hopefully you can get these people to start believing on whatever is coming out of your mouth, because we know that the minute you say yes, hello, my name is Alex, they only trusting you around 3%. So
that's it.
So
right
hopefully you got your name tag. So when you say your name is Alex, you got a picture with your name on the bottom that says Alex, and you give them a business card that says Alex, and then they see the card with the sign that says you're with the roofing company. Well, all these little things that, as little as they may sound, they start bringing that number, from 3% to the 5 to the 10 to the 15 to the 20, and so on and so forth. So what should you always tell your people is to train the members of your team to listen to the customer and have a conversation instead of a presentation.
That's it. And, at the same time, I'll say it over and over again. We're there for one thing only. We drop the prejudges. Blood. We drop the prejudges. We drop everything. We're there to sell a demonstration and nothing else. That demonstration includes a conversation. It's all part of the system. Going back onto T-Talk topic.
Let me ask you this, Alex.
Go ahead.
You're in a slump. Your salespeople are just, they're garbage. They can't even close the door behind them. Whose fault is it?
The contractor that put the door in.
That they can't close that door, or
yeah, they couldn't close the door because it wasn't installed properly. No, it wasn't installed properly into their head. Your system, it's your fault. If they're failing, it's because of you, nobody else.
So the salespeople are not the problem; it's the system that's the problem.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be the system. You didn't, instill in them that they needed to follow the system, and then they went off the beaten path, and it's the whole thing. Oh, I can do it. I can figure it out. But no, that you got hired into a business. There's a system. Follow it.
So basically, are you selling the right product to the right target audience? Do you have a successful marketing campaign? What about your social media marketing? Can any of that stuff be improved? before we blame and start firing salespeople for underachieving.
No, that's huge because it's all in a nutshell, and I'm glad you brought up a couple different points there. One, the marketing campaign. Are you giving them enough, ammunition behind them? Even when they go onto social media or to your website and look at the reviews of your company, or how's your social status online? Is your website set up location wise for Google, Yelp? Like, if somebody looks for your company, are they going to be able to find it right away? And does it look professional? Because as a salesperson and training salespeople, they go out to the house. We go out to the house. We're the face of the company. But once we leave, they turn on their phone and the computer screen, and then they try to find more out about you. Are you doing everything you can to make sure that the business is buttoned up on the digital side?
Absolutely, I think you hit it right on the head. Is that the salespeople can only do so much, and it's the job of the leader to make certain that he has a platform for him to succeed. If there's one or two negative, and that's all you have, but you got to find ways to get some positive and turn those negative into positive, and see what you need to do to make that person happy, so they can go ahead and change that review. Because nowadays, review is basically your bread and butter of your business.
That's it. Times have changed, man, especially COVID. You thought people went online before? Like, malls in America are closing down, not because of the economy. Look at the stock market. It just broke the all-time highs today before, back to 3.2. The economy is booming. People aren't going to malls because they're afraid to go to malls, because people are at malls. Like, there's money out there to be spent. So where is it? It's on this thing in front of me and you right now that we're staring into a camera, and we got 25 tabs open on my computer screen. One's Amazon, one's Ammo Depot. Like, what's this? Like, I'm buying things online. Dick's Sporting Goods I was just on. Bass Pro Shops I'm just on. And what if, somebody's going to go look for a car, or somebody's going to go look for a roof, or somebody's going to go look for windows, whatever it may be. They're going right online nowadays. They don't show up to a store. Store, it's 2021 COVID, baby. Let's go.
Well, and that just shows you that, more and more people are really going into the online. And you're absolutely correct. I mean, why do I want to go ahead and go out there, expose myself, especially if I'm in that group that might be borderline, or I'm a high risk? Why am I going to go ahead and go to a Walmart or go to a Target and expose myself and possibly get COVID? I mean, I'm lucky enough that I've gone through all this time period without being exposed myself, but people around me have gotten COVID. And every time somebody around me has gotten COVID, run and try to get tested and make sure, because if I bring it to the house, I know I'm going to contaminate everybody in the house, and we're high risk. I mean, I'm a high risk. I'm above 50.
Oh, man.
I know. Hey, what can I tell you?
Old timer. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we got Raphael, the old school in Hollywood, Florida, and the new school, me, Naples, live. We're all unedited.
So
I
getting
hope my
right
audio
back
is
on
good.
topic. What's
Sorry
our next
about my
tip?
audio, ladies and gentlemen. If the audio is bad, we're still learning. Next one, hire the right people. Duh, hire the right people. How many times have you wanted to give that person the benefit of the doubt, and you put your time, effort, and energy into it, and it just didn't work?
A lot of times. I mean, we sometimes we go with our gut feelings. Sometimes we go with their charisma. A lot of times it's easier to try to train. We think that having the person know it all by the time he comes in, it's a great thing for the organization. And sometimes it could be the worst thing, because they're not only are they bringing the things that they know, but also they're bringing their bad habits. And like anything else, you have to put the time and effort. You need to have a training program in place. You can't just say, okay, well, there's the shelves, there's the books. Let me know when you're done, learning about it, and we'll put you out in the street. Because what you're doing is basically just burning a potential person to not produce.
That's it.
And
it doesn't matter if you're the best leader in the world. You can be the best, but if you don't have the right people around you, you're stuck in mud. You're stuck. You need a winch and a semi to pull you out.
Yeah, no, and you're right because you know we always look at sports. You know, sometimes you look at a team and you say, "Man, there's so much talent there. I can't believe that they're 0-7 with so much talent." And it's not that it's the coach's fault. I hate to say this, but it's the organization, the coach, because they weren't able to maximize every single person and make sure that they had the right group, the right connection, the right chemistry. Sometimes having all stars is not the answer to a great sales team.
No, I focus. You can focus on hired, extroverted, ambitious, goal-oriented people. They make a real difference. Real quick, have we talked about the guy landing? He finally landed a rocket ship. Did we bring that up on one of the shows?
Yeah, we did.
All right, so Elon Musk, and we're going to jump into him on this topic because one of the articles that stuck out to me is about 6 or 7 months ago. I probably said it in one of the shows. He calls an all hands on deck meeting at 3 a.m. and asked, "What's going on? Why isn't this factory in Boca Chica, Texas, pumping out Starship pieces at all hours of the day?" And they're like, "Elon, look, we don't have enough people." He's like, "Why don't you have enough people? Hire them." He's like, "What do you mean hire them?" He's like, "Hire 2 shifts. I don't care if you hire 4 shifts." He's like, "How can we hire that many people?" He's like, "I don't care how you do it, but you're going to hire people that at the family barbecue, you would invite them to the family barbecue, that they're going to sit there and interact with everybody in a positive attitude. Don't hire somebody that you wouldn't invite to the family barbecue." And, he told the guy, "Look, this is all on you. So every person that you put to work for SpaceX, he's a representation of you." So, when you're looking for those people, you're looking for outgoing, positive people. We can run a whole podcast episode on interviewing questions and steps and how to, get good conversations and good feedback and really learn, who a person is or, what they're all about by just asking them a couple questions during the interview process.
And just keep in mind that process of interviewing, you're trying to not just fill a spot, you're trying to maximize and making sure that this person really fit within the organization. What is he going to bring to the table in his, in personality, of course, revenue wise, and really you should have a training program to make sure that person, when you put them out in the field, they do their best. I mean, that's all I can say.
Because if they don't do their best, they're not going to make any money and they're going to quit. So we put in the time, posting the ads, answering the phone calls. They're training somebody to do these tasks, interviewing them, and then training them. And it's an onboarding process. It's not 1, 2, 3 days. It's 1, 2 weeks. And then it's always retraining, train, retraining, training for the life of a sales rep. It's always retraining. We get to retrain ourselves every night. You get to listen and get to be retrained every night on certain sales topics. So hire the right people. Huge. Will it bring your company to boiling steam point and blow up if you don't hire the right people? Absolutely. Bankruptcy down the window.
Yep,
there goes the company easily. How? Why? Because you got sales reps and you have marketing money. Who's the marketing money for? It's for your sales reps, right? You spend so much money on leads and time and training. And if that gun's not loaded right, you're kind of, lack of a better word,
and that goes
not
right
in a good
in,
spot.
Yeah, and that goes into to our next tip, which is turn to one coaching. And the reason why is that you want to see what's wrong with that individual. You gave them the training. You got to be out in the field with that person and see what they're doing and what they can improve. You hired him. If he fails, you fail. So you want to make sure that if you're going to commit, that you're going to commit all the way. And that includes the one-on-one coaching, going out there, listening to his pitch, listening to his sell, and not be so robotic, but instead of just having a pitch, that show should include a two-way conversation to make certain that that person doesn't sound like he just, he knows the script, but didn't act it the way he should have acted.
The script and the system's one thing, but during the demonstration, it's not just a presentation, but it's a conversation. Always remember that. Like, 2 ears, one mouth. That should stick with you every episode. The one-on-one coaching isn't just, the in-home experience or during the sales. It's on the side. It's outside of hours, before hours. It's the motivating. It's the going over goals, making sure that this person has the 3 bullets, or promotions have changed, and, they know that this is the promotion for the month or whatever it may be. And it breaks down beyond business, on life goals, like what they want to accomplish on a personal level.
And that goes right into the next tip, which is support the salespeople through all stages. All stages.
All stages. And as we're looking to the clock, it is now 10:29, but we're going to touch base on supporting the sales rep through all the stages. It's extremely important. Just as we're getting into a sales presentation, we're building rapport. At the same time, when you're training that salesperson, you're building rapport. Like, if you don't find out about if he's married or she's married, or if they have kids, or what their living situation, what their life is like, and their home life is like after the first week of training, you didn't, you weren't there through support during stage 1. It all adds up, and it leads to the bigger picture. As much as you're there and you care for them, they're going to be there and care about your business.
Well, I think the last two, due to time constraint, I think that investing technology that helps rep connect. That's obvious. We're in the 21st century. We should be using some type of marketing automation, some CRM. And this is just to help. Each name, each phone number is a potential customer. It's a potential lead. It's money that is sitting, and it took you some time and money to collect all that information. And I think
that's huge. So you could always start off like, on the CRMs, but, Ralph has always been a firm believer, man. If you don't have a CRM, at least put it on a spreadsheet until you get busy. And then at one point, there's just so much information. Why would you lose it? How many times, some company, like one company I work with, we get dozens of leads on a weekly basis. If you're not putting those leads into a separate CRM, if they're not selling now to follow up from 3-6 months down the road, because these are leads in your business forever. These are contacts that you can call forever, no matter what product you're pushing.
Well, legality-wise, is 18 months, but yeah, we'll
all right, pretend. That's forever in a sales rep's mind. They can't think beyond 2 months.
But then I think that we should build culture that drives ambition.
That's huge. What do you mean by that, Ralph?
Well, you gotta. Your group should be a set of go-getters that have the similar goals, that they want to go ahead and increase revenue. If you hire people that are not ambitious, that they're just happy from a 9 to 5, that's what you're gonna get. You're only gonna get a 9 to 5, and as soon as they make that $600, $1,000 for the week, that's it. The day is over. They make one sale for the month, they're happy, and that's it. They ain't gonna do anything else for you. I just made $3,000. I never seen so much money. Why am I gonna keep working? Because that's the mentality.
That is a mentality, and unfortunately, there's people like that out there. By all means, it's not bad to have them in your organization, but you don't want your organization solely with that, type of personality or that type of person. It's always good to have them because, hey, it all adds to the bottom line. But when you're leading the business, you're building that culture. You're the leader. You're leading from the top. One thing I want to touch base is, everybody in your organization should know your mission statement, and including your vision, like your goals for the next 5 years, what this company wants to accomplish. And it's all building that culture. Is like, hey, this isn't just a now company. In 5 years, this is what we want to be. Having realistic goals. You're making the job fun. You're making it enjoyable. But nothing else than you're the leader. You're from the top. You inspire the crew. You give them the juice. You give them the mojo. You bring the espresso in every morning with you. That's the juice that you get to be in part of running a business.
And that's a great way to end the show. Well, this is Rafael from Hollywood, Florida. saying good night.
My name's Alex DeLuca. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, it was a pleasure. This action-packed half hour. Everybody have a good night from Naples and around the world.
Thank you for tuning in to ttalks.net. If you have any questions, comments, or something you want us to talk about, email us at raphael@ttalks.net or comment below. Please follow us on YouTube at ttalksnet and Facebook at ttalksnet. Please rate us and don't forget that sharing is caring. Thank you for your support. Till next time, we will tea talk later.